Well, we have in the studio the Director, Gender and Development, Rhoda Robinson. Also in the studio is the Program Lead, Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights, Mary Adeoye. Good morning, ladies.
Nice to see you,
good to see you.
You're welcome.
And happy World Population Day.
Thank
is there any such thing?
Yeah.
All right, let me start with you, Rhoda. Well, the right to determine the number of children in a family, or to even space it, was affirmed more than about 50 years or so ago. What is the situation now?
Well, as you said, the rights, family planning as a right was actually confirmed over 50 years ago today. And in 2012, on the London Summit, it was where countries were recommitted to that fact that family planning should be available for everybody. And Nigeria was one of the committers to that agreement. And it means that everyone, every woman, every child, every man should have the right to choose when to start giving birth, how many children they should have, how much spacing they should they can get or they can choose in having children, and how often that they give birth to children. And this has a ripple effect on their health, on the economy, on poverty rates within the economy and development as well.
All right, Mary, when it comes to the issue of family planning, do you think Nigerians are aware of what the importance of family planning and the benefits of family planning?
Okay, thank you very much. So it has been established now that family planning is a human right, but as it is now, the contraceptive prevalence rate in Nigeria is still 15%. That's the number of people who have taken up methods to plan their families, to decide the number of children they want to have and when they want to have it. But that is very low. That's like
15%?
very, yes, 15%. Okay. So that brings us to the fact that people don't still know that family planning is a human right. People still give birth too early, too frequently, and people still, they can still decide. So many women out there can still decide that, okay, this is the number of children I want to have. This is when I want to start having children. A lot of women out there don't even know that family planning is a human right for them. So they are not aware. So we can say the awareness level right now is very low.
What's responsible for that? Because when you talk about family planning, it seems it's always the burden. The responsibility is always put on the woman.
Yes. I think one of the issues we're having is a lack of information, accurate information for both the man and the woman, the kind of choices that they have, the kind of family planning commodities available and the services that they should get. Apart from the lack of information, the availability of these services, especially to those women and families in rural communities, is still very low. In the commitment that I had earlier spoken about, Nigeria had signed on and had put together action plans on how to improve this, tax sharing between with community health workers to make sure that these services are available to the rural communities. However, there is still a very low prevalence. Now, we had said that in 2018 we would have at least 36% of prevalence rate in Nigeria, but we are still very, very short on this, and this means that we are not able to reach our target. Currently, more than 700 women are dying daily.
Yes, Nigeria.
And there are a lot of maternal preventable deaths that can be prevented if they just have enough access to family planning services. And the principles that surround this are based on basic human rights, acceptability, affordability, accessibility, a right to confidentiality and privacy when you're asking for family planning help, a right to actually getting right information, and being conscious of what you're actually asking for, knowing the choices that you have, being able to say no and yes when you want to. A lot of women don't have access to this information. A lot of people don't know about this, and it's there. But
we seem not to be, focusing on the men, because they are the heads of the home. It is Mike, for example, that will decide the number of children he wants to have.
And on the pun days, I can decide how many children I want to have. On the pun days, my wife also has the equal, because when it comes to the issue of children, the women are closer because they carry the baby, they carry the pregnancy, all of those tell on them. So they should even educate the men about what family planning and all of that is.
How easy would it be to do that?
And recently there's a lot of male involvement. Because it's not just about the women, it's a family thing. So when the men are involved, they know the benefits of family planning. That it's not just about your wife. It has a ripple effect on the economy. At the end of the day, when a woman is able to decide when I can have children, how many children I want to have with my husband, of course, then she'll be more productive, and this will lead to greater productivity, and at the end of the day, the economy is getting better. And
society benefits.
Yes,
all right, now
the
statistics show that Nigeria, the population of Nigeria is rising by about almost 3% every year.
Yeah.
And then the UN prediction is saying by 2030, Nigeria will be about 260 million people, and then by 2050, will be about over 400 million people, making number 3rd in the world after China and India. Now, how scary are those statistics?
This is a very scary fact to know, and that's why a lot of efforts are being put into harnessing demographic dividend in Nigeria. Now, when I talk about this, I mean the current workforce that we have, the current population that we have, the current how productive will they be following up. And family planning is a very, very important aspect of it, because when you can control the growth of a nation, you have better control of how much the economy develops, how much you can actually provide for its people, how much productive population you actually have in your in respect to the dependency ratio that you have. So this is actually something that we, as HACE as an organization, we're invested in as well. We've been part of the National Steering Committee on developing strategies to harness our demographic dividend in Nigeria, where family planning plays a key role. Yeah. Okay. As an organization as well, we've developed interventions that assures that young people have access to quality sexual and reproductive health tailored to their needs.
But then again, the question is, where do they go to?
That's the problem. Our program is called Tombe. So what this does is that it provides young people with information on where they can actually go to access sexual and reproductive health care services, including contraceptives, counseling services. So what this does is that it provides them a platform where they can seek information, assures them that it's your right to seek information, and they also have a voice when they don't get quality services. So they can actually speak out and say, no, this is not affordable, this is not youth friendly, this does not meet my needs, these are the needs I currently have, and this is what we should be focusing on. So that's what the Tombe platform does.
All right, now a lot of people have talked about, like we said, you mentioned earlier that the amount of awareness is just about 15% when you the ratio to the population. Now, when it comes to issue of awareness, is illiteracy necessly tied to it?
Is a major factor?
Because we still have so many educated women who don't have any idea of what all of this is. Yes,
education plays a very key role in getting information about family planning, but not just that. There's a lot of cultural barrier around family planning. A lot of women believe
it is God who gives children.
Yes, I'm not supposed to plan. I'm not supposed. It's not my call to plan. It's God who gives children. So there's a lot of cultural, religious barrier to this family planning. A lot of women actually know that I should be able to take up a method that will prevent me from getting pregnant for the next maybe 2 years, but maybe their husbands are not supportive. Maybe the churches they attend, they say you can't do family planning. So all these areas like culture, religion play key roles in.
So how do we now intervene in a really practical way that the woman in the rural area is not left behind? That, you know, the projections by 2050 that Nigeria will be the 3rd most populous nation on earth.
I think
and people are still giving birth to 8 children.
People are still giving birth to 8 children. People are still counting their riches based on the number of children.
People are still giving birth every year.
Every year. And I think it's based on an understanding that these are the side effects of this.
What are the likely side effects? Talk to us about that.
Family planning, a lack of family planning contributes a major percentage to maternal deaths. For instance, Nigeria has a maternal death prevalence of like about 570 deaths to 100,000 women. And most of these deaths are preventable with family planning services. Now, going by what Nigeria had planned to do, if they achieve a prevalence rate of 36%, they will be able to reduce maternal death by 30%. That means they are saving 30% more women that would have died based on complications in pregnancy, postpartum complications, and all sorts of, Now, they will also be saving about 700,000 child deaths. So this is talking about the health aspect of it. It's immense. Now, when you look at the economic aspect of it, a family who has 3 children, spaced appropriately, spaced equally, we'll be able to plan better. What's the appropriate spacing? It depends on the family's choice. Okay, that's so another thing. Choice is extremely important. That's why it's a right. The right for the choice that the ability for you to actually make the choice. That so it's flexible based on what suits you or what the family uses their own discretion. You cannot enforce. It goes against all principles that govern family planning. So they have the right to choose when to start, how many children to have, when to actually stop. Okay. All right. Remember that our song. Exactly. Let's leave it there. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us this morning. Rhoda Robinson and, of course, Mary Adeoye, talking to us about, of course, it's World Population Day. At the end of the day, the onus is on you to decide how many children you want to have.